This is Elias Dufexes. You're watching That Tom Clancy Show.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another brand new episode of That Tom Clancy Show. I am, of course, your lovable robot host, Mr. That Tom Clancy. So, everybody, welcome back. It's been a little while since we've been live. Yeah. I don't really have too much to say on that. It's just, scheduling this show around multitudes of time zones starts to take its toll eventually. So we're trying some new things, seeing what's going on, all that jazz. Moving forward, this show may or may not move over to YouTube, but who knows? We'll figure it out. He's been fishing. Don't let him mislead you. No, I haven't been fishing because I can't leave the state unless I do a 2-week quarantine. And that ain't going to happen because I don't want to leave the state right now. Chroma, Tim, good to see you both. Thank you all for being here. Now, where the heck did it decide to put... the funny thing is I actually prepared my slide that was going to have the introduction for my guests, which, I'll do in just a minute. But apparently it decided it didn't actually want to go on any of the actual slides. So I'm going to have to wing it. So sorry, guests, when I get to you in a moment, because it's going to be bad. But before we get into everything, there's like one big thing of news that I just wanted to talk about really quickly. And hopefully I mean quickly, and I don't mean that I'm going to go on a big like soapbox rant here. And that is specifically some of the news that has surfaced about the Quest 2. Primarily that if you delete the Facebook account tied to it, you lose all of your purchases, which is some bullshit. To be quite frank with you all, I was already amazingly hesitant and cautious about all of this, especially once they announced that you were going to have a Facebook account for it. And then when they also went in depth as to just the scope of the biometric data that they were going to be pulling from people. But now the fact that they're also going to take away your purchases because you have decided that you don't want to have an identity hacking tool associated with your gaming or other technological endeavors. I'm done, man. Like, I've personally taken a step back from Facebook. I haven't fully deleted the account yet, but I have logged myself out of all of my devices. I've deleted the apps. I've removed the saved passwords from all of my browsers and all of my devices. And I don't want that in my virtual space too, because like, dude, the virtual space is excellent. This is, like Internet 2.0. It's our chance to like do this shit right and get those huge corporations kind of out of... I know we can't get rid of the huge corporations, but we can at least get rid of the evil ones. And now we have these wonderful spaces. And Gira 255, thank you for that follow. And it's just, we have this freedom to do what we want, to build what we want, to make these silly shows. And I'm not having it from fucking Facebook. I mean, the only thing it's good for right now is getting you pissed off at your best friends and your family because you found out that some of them are closet fascists. And here's a little dab for you, Gira. Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the studio audience. It's so good to have you here. That's my rant. That is my soapbox. That's how I feel about it all, because I love the internet. I love everything that it can possibly do. I love the level of connectedness that it brings us, especially right now when we can't get out there and actually see and love our loved, or, see and hug our loved ones and friends. Just this past Wednesday night, I sat down and I got a chance to play Unfortunate Spacemen with friends all across the country. And that was just such a huge boost to my own personal morale. And I don't need that negativity in it. So, yeah. Oh, Chroma, it takes 24 days to delete Facebook, and you can't visit it in that time or it will reset. So be sure to say bye to your friends before then. Yeah. The funny thing is that for some reason, Twitter, who is the better social network here? Whoever would have thought that would have happened? Well, Bits and Pixels, I have sat here on my soapbox for far too long today, but that's not what we're here for. We are here to talk about a game called Digital Janitors from the lovely people at Tired Turtle Games. With me today are a couple of those developers. So, Bits and Pixels, please join me in a warm That Tom Clancy Show welcome for today's guests, Andrew and Tyler. And boop, there we are. God, can you tell I haven't done a live show in over a week?
That's all right.
Well, guys, welcome to the show. For everybody who's watching at home, Andrew is over on the far side of the couch, and Tyler drew the short straw and gets to sit next to me. So, gentlemen, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. And, of course, the first question that I have for you, what are you playing?
I've been playing I Am Dead by, I believe the developer is Hollow Pond and published by Annapurna Interactive.
Okay.
A cool, it's hard to describe in a few sentences, but it's like part like hidden object game, part like narrative visual novel type thing, part adventure point and click, where you play as a dead ghost on a little British island trying to save your like home from a volcanic eruption by reconnecting people with those who have died. Like I said, hard to explain in a few words, but very interesting, very cool, very sweet, a cute game. I've been enjoying it.
You send me a link after the show, like so I can get a little bit more insight into this game. And real quick, Gira, hang out later, and I can go into it a little bit. But the short answer is there's no short answer. Tyler, what about you, man? What are you playing?
I haven't really played these games before, but I jumped into the newest Metro game, Metro Exodus.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little spooky, but it fits my blend of first-person shooter and just a little bit of horror. So that's what I've been playing through, and it's been a blast so far.
It is the appropriate time of year for spooky games. I don't know if you noticed this, but we are but 8 days from Halloween. It's really easy to lose track of time in 2020. But yeah, it's a perfect time for games like that. How are you digging it? Just out of curiosity.
Being my first Metro game, it's a lot better than I thought it would be. I didn't think it would be my type of game. I thought it would be very slow and very quiet because it's mostly like in a barren wasteland, kind of like the Fallout games. Like I thought there would be a lot of walking, but there is stuff going on every single second. You're either being chased by a monster or you're fighting some guys, and it keeps you very it keeps it in your face and very action packed. So I liked it so far.
Nice. Yeah, I haven't been able to get into the Metro games myself. They're a little too Russian.
You see, that's funny for you to say, because I was just about to say that I'm pretty sure I've recommended this to you before, Tyler, but I think you should play the Stalker games. I think you would enjoy them.
Yeah.
Those are pretty Russian.
They're amazingly Russian. Which is funny, though, because I really love the book Roadside Picnic, which Stalker is very loosely based off of, or at least inspired by. So any first timers here, just to let you know, I'm a reader and I read lots of books every year. So at some point, I'm going to tell you all to read a book. And you know what? You should, because reading's great. And if you're a fan of the Metro games and Stalker, I highly recommend reading Roadside Picnic. Yeah. I'm also going to recommend to you guys that you read as well.
I'll do my best. I have some books. They're over there.
I'll
get to them.
Does your list of some books, is it bigger than the number of books that I have read this year?
Probably not. I feel like since you've self-described yourself as a reader, you probably are like punching above my weight in this regard.
Quite probably, but you know what? Everybody starts somewhere, just like Rocky Balboa.
True.
So you can fight the Apollo Creed of reading, which isn't me, but some of my friends at a local bookstore. Dude, those guys make me look like a slacker. Well,
I hate to call us out, but I think both of us combined probably couldn't be yours. I have one book sitting in front of me. It's my first book of the year.
I mean, I don't have any sitting in front of me. I have, a computer, and I have this duck.
I don't have any ducks, so you've also got me beat in the duck game, which is just another victory for you.
Well, this is Duckus. He is kind of our like show mascot kind of thing. So it's quite important to have Duckus here on the set. So here, Duckus, you can sit right there. And my virtual monitor can go back into its normal place. And let's see. Yes.
Wow.
That is
amazing.
It's a lot harder than it looks in the digital world than it is in the physical world. There's no inner ear sense of balance and all that stuff. So that was actually quite amazing. And that deserves applause.
I'm impressed.
So, well, gentlemen, we're not here for me to be a digital wizard. Unfortunately, we're here to talk about you and digital janitors. So I know I have taken the time to track down your demo, which is actually very easy to find. You can find it on their Steam page. Just look for Digital Janitors on Steam. And hey, while you're there, why not wishlist and give these guys a hand? You like that? That was smooth.
Yes, very smooth.
The first one's free. No. I'm kidding. But for everybody who hasn't had the opportunity to figure out or learn about digital janitors, how would you best describe it to people?
Sure. So we bill ourselves as a, quote, desktop defense game, which is the closest we've come to a good sort of genre descriptor, because we're not exactly too similar to a lot of other games. If you ever played like Hypnospace Outlaw or Emily is Away or A Normal Lost Phone, these sort of games that simulate a fictional OS environment and then usually are some sort of like point and click narrative kind of thing in that environment, we are similar to those, but instead of being a slow narrative text heavy kind of thing, we lean more into like arcadey action elements, primarily through the act of sorting files that appear on the desktop, the simulated computer OS, into either the recycling bin or the quote unquote secure drive. So like good files go to secure drive, bad files go to recycling bin. And you're sort of within the game world playing as the IT administrator for this big corporation, and hackers have taken over the whole company system, and you have to go through and act as the digital janitor and clean up the mess they've left behind.
Now, I have to ask the question because I am of a generation that grew up hacking the Gibson. And is there a point at which I can stop being a corporate shill and throw on a black hat and, do some fun work?
I won't tell you how the game ends, but I will say that we're making this game totally aware that a lot of players are going to be like, I don't like this company. And so it factors in, I'll say.
All right. I can get behind that kind of answer. Spectrosaurus, sorry there. I kind of play a little, what's the word I'm looking for here? Heavy-handed when it comes to links and stuff in chat, mostly because, I can constitute myself as a 3D person for everybody to look at on the internet, or I can monitor chat. I can't, unfortunately, do both. I don't have the necessary number of processing cores. But Fictional Cat is my mod supreme, and if Fictional Cat is listening, that would be excellent if they could track down the link for Digital Janitors on Steam and put it in chat for people.
I would appreciate it too.
Yeah, if this doesn't get done, I might have to rethink the mod supreme title. I'm mostly kidding. So, rewind. Got sidetracked there for a moment. So when you were coming up with the idea for this game, what were some of the inspirations behind that?
Hypnospace Outlaw is a big one, obviously. I mean, that game hit big and it's very cool and has a ton of style and all that. But interestingly enough, it's like Robotron 2084, the old arcade game.
Oh, I know Robotron.
I feel like everybody who has ever made a game is like, Robotron's great, and then everyone else is like, I've never heard of that. But Robotron is great, and as a single screen sort of arcade experience where things are all over the place and you're getting overwhelmed, of course you look to Robotron, right? And so we're combining sort of the aesthetics of Hypnospace with not the gameplay, but the sort of energy of Robotron, right? I think that's not, if we're gonna do this cross with that, that's probably not a bad way to describe it.
Yeah. I've spent a lot of time with Robotron myself. My first job working in games was at Midway right before they went bankrupt, and they had an arcade machine set up in the break room that had Robotron on it, and a bunch of us in QA would spend our lunches trying to figure out who was better at the game. So I know the game quite well. I'm terrible at it, but I know it well from watching other people, just like Dark Souls. Well, I'm terrible.
I've gotten to like the fourth or fifth screen on Robotron. I can get there pretty consistently. Any further than that, I don't know how well I'll do, but I do enjoy my short times with it.
I mean, it's a solid game. It is clearly the inspiration of wonderful games like, say, Geometry Wars. But we have a couple questions in chat from Bromod TV. First one is, how long is the main storyline? And he follows that up. Well, I'm assuming I apologize if I'm getting the pronouns incorrectly. But they also ask, how long has the game been in development?
I can take the development question. The game's been in development kind of like in half for like 1 year. We started it in a college project and worked on that for about 6 months, kind of on and off. And then we turned it into a professional practice, and we've been working on that for about 6 to 7 months now. And this is how far we've gotten.
Yep, we're shooting for an early 2021 release date, subject to change. If any publishers are listening and would like to give us money to make it longer and bigger, we'd do that. But as of right now, all on our own, we're shooting for like right around 4 to 5 hours full runtime with, some replayability and endless mode, so that if you really want to get yourself up to 60, 70 hours, hopefully you won't be too bored doing that.
Yeah. I can understand that. And if there are any publishers out there, I'm also looking to sell out. So
always ready to sell out.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, like, isn't that really the goal?
That's why we're all here.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, it's about the art, absolutely. But like at the same time, everybody has a number for where they're like, yeah, okay, it's about the money now.
I like to eat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
getting paid for what we're doing is would be nice.
Indeed, that is the end goal. So Andrew and Tyler, what are your individual disciplines with the project?
For me, I am the composer on the project. I make the music for every single level in the game, and it's been very fun doing that because it's my first time being a composer on a game. But I'm also one of the lead gameplay programmers on the team.
Oh, nice.
The lead. Shane Tupler does the main programming. I just do gameplay stuff.
We're a team of 6, so we're all kind of leads, and we all kind of touch a little bit of everything. But I'm kind of, I've often said I'm the narrative dude on the game. I've written most every word in it, and I'm like writing the script and all that stuff, and building the systems that deliver the narrative to the player. So if you've played the demo, you've experienced like the messenger, the AOL type messenger that'll pop up that you can talk to the hacker through. So that was me. But like, yeah, I've bits of UI I've done, and like I've helped with sound design. So with a small team of people who are all kind of generalists, we get around, touch a little bit of everything.
Nice. Yeah, it's that was actually another question I had for you, which was, what's the size of your team? So thanks for stepping on my lines, Andrew.
Happy to. Anytime.
Okay. That is one of the interesting things about working in independent development, is having to wear a lot of different hats, and also having that freedom to make these big kind of game direction changing decisions kind of on the fly. When you're small, it's that whole idea of like agile development. So like, I guess one of the big questions I have here, especially with small teams and people who are, I'm guessing you guys are just out of college too.
We're still in college.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Not even out of college, guys. Come on. One thing at a time here. Is like, what would you like? What are some like mistakes, difficulties that you've had that you would caution other people against making if they were trying to kind of follow in your footsteps?
I have a story I could relay about something we did many months ago. There was a period of time shortly after I had played Outer Wilds and become obsessed with that game and how good it is, and recommended it to everyone on the team, and analyzed its design and played it again and listened to all the podcasts with the devs, that I was like trying to to bolt the good things about Outer Wilds onto our game, because I was so like obsessed with how well they did what they did, that I was like, we need to follow in their footsteps. This is what the future is about. So crazy good design. But ultimately I wasn't following what was good for the game. I was following what like I liked as a designer from a different game and what I would like to do. Whereas this game, doesn't operate as well with the same sort of like flat structure that Outer Wilds has, where like you can go anywhere and do anything at any time. It doesn't fit the way this game is sort of constructed and the core gameplay loop very well. So there was like I made whole features that are completely cut now, that were like semi-complicated, that were dedicated towards a like flat structured design where you can complete the game in 5 seconds, like the Breath of the Wild thing. Yeah. You just know what to do. And like, that wasn't what Digital Janitor should be. But for that period of time, I was so caught up in that design lane that I thought that was really where we should be. And I spoke about it so passionately that the rest of the team was like agreeing, and we were all working towards it. Eventually we got off that track, and I think we're on a better track for the game now. But that was definitely a little bit of a whoopsie from me.
Yeah. Well, from personal experience, I can definitely say that is a problem that even a lot of larger game developers still have a problem with. I'm still held by NDAs, but there was one particular project I worked on from 2009 through 2011 that ran into a lot of issues. As the new hot game came out, there's that wonderful new feature. Well, can we implement it in our game? And yeah, it's a problem. But
I just love games too much. I don't know.
Hey, I mean, I fully understand it. There was a previous episode of the show where we were talking about inspiration for various things, like, my inspiration for the show, their inspiration for their game. And it was kind of interesting because while we weren't inspired by the same things, we had a lot of overlap in terms of media that we both enjoyed. And, their love of things like, say, roller coasters led them on this path towards creating this completely different style of game than one would think a roller coaster would lead to, or at least where I would think a roller coaster would lead to. And sure enough, it's everybody pulls different things from different, from those same experiences. So, I mean, like personally, I'd be interested to see, what you pull from Outer Wilds, like what that inspires you to create, because I know it's going to be different than what myself or, any game developers in the audience might come up with. We have a question from chat from Kika Margova. This game is so fun to play on my touchscreen. Do you plan to go mobile, and where do you see this game going?
You want to take this one, Andrew?
Sure, I can take it.
I was I saw that silly smile on your face there, Tyler.
We want to do mobile because I think it works well on mobile. I think Kika and Chad is right. It's fun on a touchscreen. None of the teams ever made a mobile game before, so it'll be a totally new thing for us when we embark on that. And the current plan is to, obviously things could change. We could, change course and we want to make it bigger. We want to, do this or that. But as of right now, our current plan is to finish and release the game on Steam and have it out on Steam. People play it, bug fix, all that fun stuff, and then begin work once the Steam version's good to go, begin working on a mobile port, and then get it out on mobile sort of after the game is out and after Tired Turtle sort of moves on to whatever our next project might be.
Yeah, I had to do the guilty smile because it's so easy for me as an enthusiast of my own game to be like, yes, it'll totally be there. We'll definitely get that done. And I know Shane, our main programmer, is probably sitting on a couch somewhere going, it's going to take me months. Don't say that yet. So it's super easy to promise things, but in the end, we throw it on Shane. So we got to think about how much time it takes to program and get everything ready.
I'm sure it's not too bad. Famous last words.
Yeah, exactly, man. Because here's the thing. Programmers, it might not be hard. I, of course, have no understanding of whether or not it is or not, and don't quote me on anything I'm about to say except the cost of it. But at the end of the day, the primary person who's going to be working on that stuff is going to be a programmer, and they're the most expensive member of the team. So it might not be difficult, but you can damn sure expect it to be expensive.
Yeah. And I mean, hopefully, I'm not an expert. I just watch GDC talks, but it seems like mobile is a relatively lucrative space, right? And if you do a smart monetization structure, you can get a chunk of change from it, and hopefully it'll be worth it for us. Obviously, if the game does super well on PC and people are really wanting DLC or something, that could change the plans for whatever we do next. And Shane and I and Tyler, who are mostly other programmers, none of us have ever made a game on iPad or iPhone or Android or whatever before. So maybe it'll be we watch 6 tutorials and we're like, oh yeah, we'll get it done by the end of next week. Or maybe we watch 6 tutorials and go, we've entered hell. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, real quick, I would just like to say, Provided Spoon, thank you for that follow. That's pretty awesome. And just out of random curiosity here, but what were you provided with? So, I mean, I feel that's a good question for, Provided Spoon. So just, random curiosity there. I'm trying to track down, see if I can get a link for the project in here. Come on, please. Please work for me. But it doesn't look like it's working for me.
I swear, Spectrosaurus is actually the elusive Shane Tupler, the one that's programming on our team. So if he dropped a link, he's definitely the one that has the right link.
Well, if somebody, damn it, come on, somebody, give me a link here. This would just be so much easier. Wait a second, I know how to get this. Give me just a moment, gentlemen. I've figured out a way to...
He's hacking into the mainframe.
I'm hacking the Gibson here. That's how I do. Because
Is that a William Gibson reference?
no, that is a reference to the movie Hackers, which nobody ever gets. So,
It's funny because I've seen that movie and I didn't get that reference. So
boom.
I don't know.
There we go.
There it is.
There we go. I managed it. So, yeah. Well, gentlemen, sorry about that. I thought that would be a little easier than it was. Very clearly, I need to have a talk with one certain fictional cat, or promote somebody else to the rank of mod, or do something else entirely. Tune in next time to find out what I did. Well, dang, man, like everybody's, the audience has been really on point with some of these questions. And the Boamba, thank you for that follow. So audience, since, you're so on point with this, if any of you have any more questions whatsoever for the guys, please go ahead and throw them in chat. You're making me look bad, so you guys get this coin. And please continue to make me look bad, and maybe there are more coins in it for you. I mean, it's not like you can use them for anything. They're just fake coins. But, well, the last real question that I had on all of this is a question I like to ask everybody. And unfortunately, Silly Goose Nemo got a question in before this one, so I'm going to ask that one first. What are both of your favorite things about your game?
You want to go first, Tyler?
Yeah, I can go first. Honestly, stepping into the programming shoes every once in a while is fun, but I like being the music person on the team. I like making so many different tracks that everyone can listen to as I play the game, and just being able to listen to my own stuff that I've made going through the levels. I know that's not necessarily like a gameplay thing, but it's really, really fun to listen to music as you're playing through your own game that you've made, and that's fun to me. But just the action-paced part of our game is what I like the most. I like being able to sort things back and forth as fast as I can and compete with my friends for like who can get things done faster. Or if I die, it's just fun.
Yeah.
I like to play it with my friends.
I'll answer this and also answer Aqua's question. They just dropped in chat. First, I'll say my favorite Canadian province is Nunavut, and because the capital city, Iqaluit, is so far north that they have things shipped to them for the winter, and they have to stay there all winter in the shipping containers because it's so cold and no other ships can get there. So they use shipping containers as like storage and garages and stuff. It's a very interesting place. Hard to live in a place that north and that cold. Totally aside from the point. My favorite thing about Digital Janitors is something we came to very early in development, and we've done our best to stick to it. And there's only a few places where it falls apart, in that we have an almost entirely diegetic design. And by that, I mean like all of the UI, all of your interaction with the world, the game, how you get narrative, how you beat bosses, all that is diegetic. It's in the game world itself. Everything right now, except for overworld dialogue when you're talking to somebody, is completely diegetic, in that like you're getting power-ups from a computer. You're getting extra money by typing into a development console, sorting icons, all in the computer. And I thought that was really important to giving the game a really like immersive feel, in that everything you do is on the computer. Because there's nothing worse than you're like 30 hours into a cool historical epic game, and then you're looking at a upgrade tree. Like there were no upgrade trees in ancient Greece. I don't want to I want to be in ancient Greece. So I felt like we had a good opportunity with the theme and the genre and the time period to commit ourselves to a totally diegetic design like that. And for the most part, we've stuck with it. A few things like the overworld dialogue that we haven't totally like solved, and I don't know if we will. Just pretend they're talking out loud. I don't know. But like aside from that, we're like really dedicated to having it be a diegetic game, and I think that it's really cool. And I mean, not to be like, oh, we're going to influence it, but I like when other games do that. So I hope we can sort of join those ranks, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Well, real quick, Shame and Spirit, thank you for that follow. 2 thumbs up. You know, everybody, I'm going to start doing the thumbs up. The idea that immediately comes to my mind would be if everybody just communicated through text message.
yeah, but it's the 90s. Text isn't as big as nowadays.
I also don't think text messaging really existed outside of pagers in the 90s, and I'm just
Yeah.
basing that on
And
growing up in the 90s.
also, it'd be weird to be standing next to somebody and be like, let me fax you something real quick.
Yeah, well, you know, I mean,
No easy solutions for that one, which is why we haven't solved it. But I mean, if that's the only sort of stumbling block, I'd be okay with it.
yeah. And hi, Timmy. Well, the question I was going to ask before Silly Goose Nemo popped in there. Oh, and just real quick, Aqua, my personal favorite is Quebec because Montreal is excellent and it feels like home. Why did you all choose to make this game in particular?
You want to take that, or should I take that?
I mean, we could probably both give explanations for this because it might be a little bit different for everybody on the team.
I think it probably will.
But we, like I said before, we started making this game in a college class when we were learning how to use Unity, and we've gone back and forth to other projects and stuff. But we ended up wanting to pursue this one professionally, just because we thought it was fun. It had a nice arcade loop, and we really wanted to take that fun arcade loop that we already had, that we knew was fun, and just kind of pursue that and make a story around it, make more gameplay additions to what we already had because we enjoyed playing it. It was just fun to play in that little tiny version that we had made in class. And now what we have is even better. We look back on the first demo that we made, and it's funny to look at the changes that have been made and how much more fun it is now.
Yeah, and to just sort of expand on our super villain origin story, whatever, from that class, the professor, Dr. Frank Lee, is also the director of the Entrepreneurial Game Studio, which is a sort of incubator at our university, at Drexel University here in Philadelphia. And he encouraged us to expand on the game and bring it to the Entrepreneurial Game Studio to have it as an incubator project there, because he thought that there was a lot of potential in the idea and in how we could develop it further. So he was sort of the spark that pushed us on this path from like just a cool class project to a full sort of commercial release. And we have been in EGS for probably like 9 months now ish, working with them. They gave us like a development office space that obviously we can't use anymore, but we did have it, and a community to work within, and guidance from like industry professionals and veterans and all that stuff. So it's been a good experience working with EGS on the game, and I really do appreciate Dr. Frank Lee giving us that push to like expand the game into a full commercial project rather than just another cool game loop that we made in college.
Yeah.
Shout out to Frank.
Yeah, Frank. I don't know Frank, but I'll give him a thumbs up.
He's a good guy.
You know what I won't give a thumbs up to, and that's Philadelphia.
Come on, it's nice.
Brotherly love. Come on.
The city of brotherly love that had a jail and a court underneath the old Eagles Stadium.
Look, it's I didn't make this city. I'm just sitting in it.
I say this because I am originally from the superior state of Maryland. So, and also too, for people who have never been to Philadelphia, it is near impossible to leave the city because none of the roads make sense. and all of them loop back in onto the city. It's like you have to do some Stone Age shaman ritual to light the path out of the city every time you visit.
It's because there's no reason to leave.
There are
It's just
plenty
it's
of
just so
reasons to
great.
leave. Like, God, I'm already hating myself for just about to say this, but New York City, Boston.
What? Okay, I'm originally from Boston, and I'm in Philadelphia for school. They're both nice. Boston's way more expensive, and
Yeah,
so is New York.
Yeah.
they
You
absolutely
get a lot
are.
of bang for your buck in Philadelphia.
Yeah, but then also cities like Chicago exist. So,
Well, we can't all be Chicago.
yeah, that's funny. Boston Harbor. Thank you, Timmy. Timmy gets me. Well, guys, I think we're pretty much out of questions here. But before I can let you go, there's one last thing that I subject all of my guests to, and it is a little bit that I like to call the 5 questions. Now, if you two are unaware, and for all of our first timers out there, the 5 questions are a series of, 5 questions that I prepared before the show that have absolutely nothing whatsoever to do with anything we've talked about thus far. There are no points to win. Nothing matters about it. All that's going to happen is maybe I'll judge you secretly or not so secretly as we continue on with the show. So, gentlemen, are you ready?
Yes,
Born
sir.
ready.
Brave words. And also, too, to all of our first timers out there for whom this is about to be your first 5 questions, thank you for joining us today. If you like the show, this is the part where I do that like call to action, please follow me thing. So if you like the show and you want to see more of it, go ahead and hit that follow button, which is wherever that is. It's super appreciated. And yeah, so question number 1. Star Wars or Star Trek?
Wars, 100%.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Star Wars. That's an easy question.
You're both wrong. Question number 2. What is the best action movie?
Ever? Mad Max Fury Road.
Yeah, I could go for that. I won't disagree with you.
I
do
also would have accepted Die Hard.
Yeah, that was my answer.
All right.
Sure it was.
Which is also the best Christmas movie.
That's true.
But the question then is, can you name the second best Christmas movie? That's not your actual question number 3. That's just like a bonus question that I've come up with just now.
It's Freebird.
That's a Thanksgiving movie. You have to stop talking about Freebird. I hate that movie. I would say it's second best Christmas movie, in my opinion. I like The Christmas Story just because of the tradition around it. I think that's fun. I don't really like Christmas movies that much, period, though.
Well, the correct answer is Lethal Weapon.
Oh, good choice.
The first one is, in fact, also a Christmas movie. So, haha. Aqua 1014 in chat, Terminator 2. Oh, that's a great choice. You mean Mad Max Guy Fieri Road? No, Timmy, it's Fury Road. But I will accept the joke. Thank you. Question number 3. There we are. Keyboard and mouse or controller?
Depends on the genre of the game, on how it plays, on how they made it. 1,000 things.
Give an example. I'll give a great answer.
I mean, he has the correct answer right there. Also,
Okay.
just some games just aren't meant to be played on the opposite controller. Like, say, Dark Souls, for instance. That is not meant to be played on keyboard and mouse.
I will say that
At all.
if both are reasonable options, I would probably lean controller because I get to like lean back when I'm playing, and I like that. Except in like if it's like an FPS or something, I definitely would prefer the keyboard and the mouse.
Interesting. Third person from Chroma, controller, first person, mouse and keyboard. Timmy, controller, I'm basic. Timmy, don't sell yourself short like that. Question number 4. Coffee or tea?
Coffee. Big on coffee. Drink a ton of it. I drink tea too, but I have a 32-ounce cold brew next to me right now. So big on coffee.
Yeah, I'll go with coffee too.
All right. I was hoping for coffee. You're both American, so good on you. Aqua1014 throws better than playing DS2 with a Wii remote. You're right. But there are those people that have done that, and if memory serves, there's a guy who has beaten it with all of the Rock Band instruments as well.
I like it when controllers are weird. Like that's the thing that I really like about old arcade games. You get a trackball, you get a full joystick, you get all sorts of things. They can really, since it's a physical thing made especially for that one game, you can make whatever you want. So I'd like controllers to be weirder in general, but I know that that's not very cost effective for most games to do.
You think Dark Souls is hard now? Wait till you play it on the Donkey Kong bongos.
Yeah, yep. I saw that one too. And just brief aside, have you ever heard of the classic game Steel Battalion for the original Xbox?
Yes, I played Steel Battalion at PAX East. They have a whole Steel Battalion room with all those setups done. And
man, I only ever wanted to play that game because it had the flip up protector on the eject button.
Yeah,
and I just wanted
really
to flip
good.
that up and just go eject.
That's something we think about a lot. I know these aren't supposed to be digital janitors questions, but that's like 50% of my brain for the past year. So it's something we do think about a lot with digital janitors is like you're sitting at a computer playing a game where you're sitting at a computer. So you can have those like kinetic moments where you feel like you're doing what the person in the game is doing because you kind of are. One of the things that development console feature has you pulling up a dev console, and then you can just jam on the keyboard as hard as you want, like they do in hacker movies, to get more extra money. And it feels really great to play. It's like one of my favorite little like things we've added to the game. Those sort of kinetic moments, flipping up the eject button, Steel Battalion, jamming on the keyboard, and digital janitors. I think those are like really, really, really fun to design and to play.
See, I will say when I got to that first moment, I was really confused because I was like, what am I supposed to type?
Anything you want, anything your heart desires.
I appreciate the idea behind it. I will say that at least for this player, that moment fell flat. But at the same time, like, that's just me.
Tutorialization could always be better.
Yeah. But hey, man, it's good thinking. So question number 5. The hardest question of the lot. And you know what? I'm gonna put you on the spot here, Tyler. You get to answer first. What is your dream game to make? Like, what if you could make any game in the world, what would you make?
Other than digital janitors, I'm a really big sucker for Naughty Dog and everything that comes out of that studio, be it Crash Bandicoot or The Last of Us or Uncharted. I like big cinematic storytelling experiences. And if I could work on any of those games, that's my dream job.
All right. And Andrew, same question.
I am the opposite of a sucker for Naughty Dog. I haven't liked a lot of what they've done generally, but I will say that if I was going to make a game, I'd probably go as far from that as I can. I would love to make a like full scale this ties into like 6 things that I've said already on this podcast, but like a full-scale arcade machine with a custom controller. I don't even know what game it is, but a custom controller that suits the game perfectly and plays kind of unlike anything you've played before, so that like the physical act of playing this game is unique enough that even if it's like a generic platformer, which I don't think it would be, I think it'd be more interesting than that. But even if that's what it is, you're like playing it in such a unique way that it's like memorable in that way, kinetically rather than mechanically, if that makes sense. And that's super expensive and it's probably never going to happen, but that seems really, it seems like a dream come true for me, at least.
I'm picking up what you're putting down. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. I've had that little ticker going in front of you two through the entire show, and it has had the Tired Turtle Game Twitter account listed there. Aside from that, is there anywhere else that people should go to get information about digital janitors, or hell, even about the two of you guys, if they are so inclined?
If you like what I had to say and you want to hear me say it more, you can follow me on Twitter at Virtual Volt, all one word. And definitely follow the company. I'm pointing the wrong way. Definitely follow the company and definitely wishlist us on Steam. The demo should still be up, I'm pretty sure. If it's not, then that's my bad. I haven't checked.
It was up however long ago it was that I tracked down the link and shared it in chat.
Okay,
So,
then it probably is still up, unless somebody's trying to sabotage us right now. So yeah, go play the demo, wishlist us on Steam, let us know what you think, tweet at Tired Turtle or tweet at me. I'm pretty sure my DMs are open. Talk to me, whatever. Let's hang out. For sure.
but also don't go sliding into those DMs unless like invited, yo.
This is an invite. DM me.
I was trying
Challenge.
to be, proper. But you do you, kid. No. All right, Tyler. Anything for you, or are you good? Or
You can follow me on Tyler Makes Games on Twitter, but
that's
that's
nice,
really
easy
it.
one.
Other than that, find me if you can.
Cool. Well,
like in real life, find you?
Nope, don't find me in real life.
Oh, okay.
No.
So the phrasing there was concerning.
Yeah, you should qualify with statements like that. Well, guys,
I don't know who's watching.
Thank you so much for joining us today. I will talk with you again in just a moment, but I need to switch over to this camera real quick and say to everybody out there in the audience, thank you so much for joining us today. For the new followers, the three names of which, sorry, virtual hands, they're hard, that I have super easy access to right now are Shaman Spirit, the Boamba, and Provided Spoon. Thank you all so much for the new follows. It is super awesome. I'm trying to think of anything else to say here aside from my usual stuff. Aside from the show's in a little bit of flux right now with everything, and especially to like the elections coming up, and the end of the year is just straight bullshit. But besides all that stuff, you can also find me on Twitter at Tom Clancy. Remember the H, it might be silent, but it's very important. I'm also on Instagram at that Tom Clancy. And of course, well, you're already here, so you know where to find me on Twitch. For anybody who's watching on YouTube, thank you so much for getting to this point in the video. If you've enjoyed yourself, go ahead, hit that subscribe button, give us a quick thumbs up. And if you're feeling so generous, maybe give that bell a little ring too. And hey, what do you know? There's a link to all the previous episodes of That Tom Clancy Show. But again, everybody, thank you so much for being here. It means the world to me, especially for Fictional Cat when he was here really quick earlier. He is one of my mods, and I forget exactly who it was who asked, but here is a medium length answer. What I have done is that I have made a virtual reality game, and I'm driving this character using virtual reality hardware. And I have Bromod. Thank you for the cheer. Dab. They said their release is going to be sometime in early 2021. But I'm sure that if you ask them on Twitter at Tired Turtle Game, they would be very happy to give you a answer that is probably more correct than mine. But yeah, so this is effectively a game, and I just hacked the cameras. So I'm, a virtual person in a virtual world talking with real people. So that's how I do it. But Bits, Pixels, thanks again for joining us today. Before we go, just a couple last things. Wear your mask, drink some water, have some vitamins, and most of all, be kind to each other, because at the end of the day, we're all in this together. So thank you all for joining us. I'll see you all next time on the next episode of That Tom Clancy Show. So until then, have an excellent night. Goodbye.